What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Your Ex Drinking Buddy with me, your host, Brennan Tassif. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Full video available there. Check out the merch store. Look at all this stuff. We got all this stuff on the merch store. It's all available on the website, BrennanTComedy.com. You can also get my tour dates there. Every show that I have coming up, I'm going to be in New York, traveling the country, doing a bunch of gigs. So check it out. Get tickets at BrennanTComedy.com. Check out the merch store. And lastly, if you really want to support, go to www.patreon.com/BrennanTComedy. And that is where you can find Tales from the Restaurant, where I divulge everything about the celebrities I wait on. And also a little bit of behind the scenes. You'll also get the episodes early, a bunch of bonus episodes. Check it all out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Your Ex Drinking Buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It's my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. Hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from Daytona Beach, Florida, Rob Roeck.
That's me.
What's up, Rob?
I like the pompousness of it, that you're everyone's ex-favorite drink. Like,
Yeah.
that's self-proclaimed.
I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. And if
anyone
you don't
told you
believe
that?
me, no, not at all. I was terrible.
Change the name.
I was so change it. 5 years down the tubes.
Let's start over.
Plug everything up front. Let everybody know where they can find you. Do all the social media. You're on shows all the time in Florida.
I don't do anything. I'm embarrassed to put myself out there. You can come to Terrible Mike's in the Daytona Beach area. I show up there. I have a show that I forgot that I have in Melbourne on Saturday. A guy handed me a check last night. That was pretty cool.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm making big money. That was $100. So that's, like $300 total for the year's earnings. I'm lying. That's probably 365 days, not since January. Doing great is what I want to tell you.
Dude, welcome back. So you were on one of the first incarnations of this show.
Yeah?
Or not incarnations, but one of the first episodes. We talked about you being a pilot, flying all over the world.
That's right.
Doing the things.
Well,
And then you came up to visit me here in New York. Well, you came up to New York, as is the case with most people who come to New York. You came to New York, and then we happened to hang out when you did so.
you're the greatest New York tour guide I've ever.
I appreciate that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So you came up a few weeks ago. We did some comedy stuff, and then you're like, "Hey, I got to come up again." And I was like, "Cool, let's do all comedy stuff." And then you met me at Greenwich Village. We did a mic. We're gonna go to the cellar later, and it was just one of those fun things where it didn't hit me until. Like probably, I think I texted you last night, but I like texted you this whole itinerary. It was like, all right, you'll get in, you do whatever you got to do, and then we'll meet at these mics, and then you'll come to the house, we'll record an episode of the podcast, then we'll go to the cellar and have dinner and hang out with comics, and then we're going to go to this party for a comedian.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, unless you want to do anything else while you're in I kind of hijacked your trip.
No, this is a fantasy for me. You can let me be more and more delusional, which I like. You got to keep me in delusion. I'm a working comic. I'm in New York City.
Doing the thing.
Doing it. I'm going to parties. I'm mingling. I like the delusion. So you're keeping that alive.
Well, and it's fun, too, because we were talking about this on the subway on the way here, but I do have people who will come up to New York to visit, and some of them are comedians, or I should say people who do comedy. And then they're always like, oh, well, I was going to go see a show, or I wanted to go like check out a museum. And I'm like, yeah, but you do comedy. You're in New York. We have to do comedy things.
Have to do comedy.
And they're like, yeah, I'm okay. And I'm like, you're not real.
Yeah.
You don't exist in the
have
world. Let's talk about it. So, of course, you know the premise of the show. You've been on before. Last time you were on, we talked about some of your college days and partying and stuff like that. What I want to focus on now is not only because you take a lot of trips, you go on trips from time to time, you party in España and other countries. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask how comedy has been going in the Daytona scene. So you were on the show. I've been doing it 6 years. You were one of the first episodes, so probably 5 years ago.
I guess.
So then we were doing Tiernanog all the time, which for those of you who are uninitiated is a brutal mic.
Yeah.
brutal.
No longer exists though.
No, but it no longer exists. But you still do comedy. Like I know you undersell it, but I do want to say this. You still do comedy like all the time in Florida.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. What are you talking about here?
well, the reason I bring it up is because like when an institution like Tir na Nog goes away, a lot of times people are like, all right, well, we're done. Or like for you, because you have like a professional life. Like you do a job and you have a wife and you live a life, but like you're still like so in it. I just bring it up because it is one of those things where like I find it, I'm very envious of the constitution that you have where you're like, no, I'm a comic. Like I do this. This is what I do.
You have to.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do?
Well, that's exactly.
Yeah, you have to get up. So we go to Orlando, we go to Melbourne, we go to Jacksonville.
God, I'm trying to lead them to water, but I got to basically fucking say it.
We do the lame ones in Daytona, and now there's an influx of just dorks, just new dorks that are coming out. And
so there's a new club in Daytona, and a lot of people have just been coming out of the woodwork.
Let's be honest, not a new club. It's an old club renamed. Okay, and yeah, they're coming out of the woodwork, and they should stay in the woodwork.
Stay in the work.
They think they know things. They think they know the world of comedy, and you got to go. I was you. I remember thinking I knew things, and then you realize you know nothing. And then you think you know things again, and then you realize again.
Yeah.
So now I still try to keep the mindset that I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. It's always growing. It's the most fun.
It does always change, and that is something that's been really cool. Is to the point you just made. I remember moving to New York, and the first open mic I went to, I met my friend Tori, who's been on the show a bunch, and she's like a real cut. Like she got on stage, and it's interesting because you know this better than most of the guests I have on the show because a lot of them are from this area or live in this area now. So like the mics that they go to are New York City comedian mics, which we were talking about. Yeah. Where in Florida and a lot of other places, you go to a mic and it's like a show. Like there's always going to be 3 or 4 people there who aren't comics, who are just watching it because they have nothing else to do. Yeah. But in New York, it's like, oh, there's 7 of us and we're all comedians and we're all doing our own thing. Like we're all writing our notes and shit. One of the funniest things I ever heard at a New York mic was someone was writing something down, and the comedian on stage literally goes, "Yeah, that's gonna change your career." While I'm up here doing my set, finish the note, because that's the thing that's gonna change your life.
What they were on stage being upset that they're down there just doing.
Yeah, someone was on stage and they were pissed off because someone was writing in the middle of their set, but it was so funny the way they were, because it does put it into perspective. It's like, oh yeah, that one little scribble you're gonna do, that's gonna change. You stop listening because that one thing is gonna change your fucking career.
Now, in all honesty, who's right or wrong in that situation? The guy having a panic attack that no one's listening to him at a mic at 2 p.m. Or the guy that's there writing something down.
Yeah, and I think the person writing something down, because I'm always like when someone will be on stage talking about something, like a premise, and I'll be like, oh shit, something like that happened to me, like write it down. You got to always write it down.
Yeah, that guy on stage could suck a dick. I don't respect that at all.
But 100%, it was me. But no, there's no way. I fucking just ignore the audience. I don't care if anyone's listening or not.
Playing devil's advocate.
I'm going to get up here and just talk. Yeah, and also you're one of the. I'm very happy to have a guest in my home actually imbibe themselves, and we have all these booze for events, and obviously I don't drink. Tracy's pregnant, so she's not drinking, and it's one of those things where whenever someone comes in, I'm always like, "You want a water? You want something to drink? You want some booze?" And everyone's always like, "No, I'm okay." But we've known each other long enough to where you're like, "Yeah, fucking, I'll take some of that whiskey. It's just sitting there."
If you have booze in the house. Well, it's better for me to drink it anyway,
yeah,
right?
100%.
You never know. This guy could relapse. You know what I mean?
It's all over.
If I get rid of it for you,
it's gone.
I'm the hero.
You are a hero.
Thank you.
But it is kind of cool because, like, to be at the mic in New York with like a buddy of mine from Florida, it's kind of like, oh, this is awesome. Because I was talking to you more and more about it, and it is very true. Like, in other areas, you're just kind of like, yeah, we go and we do the shows and this is the thing and that's, what we do. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but you got to like continue to like progress. Like you said, it's always changing. Yeah. So when I was in Florida, I thought I knew everything because I listened to podcasts and comedians talk about what it's like to be a comic in a big city. Then I moved to New York and I met Tori and I was like, oh, real comics come to mics. Like this is going to be so easy. And then we didn't see each other again. Her and I joke about this, but we didn't see each other again for like 6 months. And then I was going to mics, and it was a lot of that, like,
why?
What the fuck are you? Because there's so many mics.
Oh, I see.
And so it is one of those things where I would see people, and I was like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm up here to, like, work on comedy, and that's the craft. And then I would go to mics, like, after that first month and be like, oh, this is just like Florida. Like there's people who have no business being on
Yeah.
stage, and you're like, oh, so that just happens everywhere.
Yeah.
That's just a thing that happens. And then,
That lady today missing an arm was a little off key.
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Did that throw you?
No, it didn't throw me. Well, the end of the nub was a little wild. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well, and it was interesting too because she.
Look, she had a clitoris on her elbow. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
I was like, I could see that. I can find that one. You know. Anyway, but she wasn't a great comic, so we can talk shit about.
Yeah,
it. Well,
yeah.
she's learning.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too is there's so many people who start in the city, and I'm like, that's a psycho move. Like,
Yeah.
you moved here from like Connecticut to start doing stand up in the hardest place in the world to do it.
Yeah.
But the long-winded way of saying that's a very good point because then I moved to the city and I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
And then I learned I didn't. But now I've been here for a few years. Now and then again I thought I knew everything. But then I'll do things where I'm like, "Oh, I'm friends with like these major comics." And then I'll text them a couple of times and I'm like, "Uh-oh." Like you know what I mean? Like I'm like I have a couple of really big comics numbers and I'll text them to be like, "Oh, congratulations on filming the new special."
Yeah.
How was it?
What happened?
Was the crowd awesome? That's so cool that you were able, like, and I'm saying like ding, ding, ding.
Oh, you doing multiple
yeah,
messages?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Buddy.
And it's like,
Are they responding at all?
no, that's why I keep texting.
Oh, man.
But I'm saying to
You don't own a gun, do you?
But that's the thing where it's like, oh, I think I know things, and I think I'm like this hot shit, and then it's like, oh no, you're still that same fucking fanboy from 5 years ago where you're blowing up someone's, and they're thinking like, why did I give this asshole my phone number?
I'm a loser too. I'll randomly write Bill Burr's email all the time, almost like a therapy exercise. I haven't done it in a while, to be honest. But I do stuff like that. Now I don't know them personally, and I expect no reply, so it doesn't hurt me as much.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah.
The person just hearted the very first, after like a day, the person hearted the first message where I was like, congratulations. I'm not going to say it on the show.
Okay.
I'll tell you after.
Good.
But they just hearted where the first, out of the 7 messages I sent, they just hearted the first one.
I'm just gonna start ripping through names. I'll get it.
You could probably guess because I talked about this person nonstop the last time you were here because I was like, yeah, I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with this person.
Nah, I don't think I could guess it, honestly.
All right, let's talk about it. So, again, last time you were on, Pilot, we talked about Emory Riddle, we talked about Daytona, we talked about.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, have you noticed in the 5 years since you've been on, and this is kind of a dumb question, but I kind of want to set you up to talk more about comedy, especially in Florida and the Southeast. Have you noticed an influx as far as your career of like getting more stage time, just doing the thing? Or is it a thing where you're just kind of, because I stick to the same circles I know. So like I perform at the same clubs, I go to the same mics, I do all the same stuff, which is very toxic in New York. But for you, have you expanded? Are you doing like more stuff in the Southeast? Are you traveling more for comedy? Like take us through what's been going on the last 5 years for comedy.
No, well, first off, it gets so much easier. And I do feel bad. I mean, not really, because they are incredible dorks right now that have been coming out, these new ones, you know?
Yeah.
But you remember how much it sucks when you start. And especially for me, because I mean, I came in, I was 33, I think, when I started. And I came with my wife, and, you know, I dressed a way that, you know, I just dressed nicer than, you know, a 22-year-old broke kid, you know, and you don't fit in and you get looked at weird. And I just remember, like,
who's this old guy?
Yeah, I remember leaving, like, honestly, almost in tears, you know, and my wife's like, it's all right, you'll have another chance next week. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is my life now. You know, you get delusional
Your
too.
first mic, this is my whole life.
Yeah, and then you start throwing shows because you think that's the way to do it. You throw shows, and then other people put you on their show because you put them on your show. But then you also start realizing like that trade is not it's not fair, and it's not fair on your ego. You know what I mean? Because you're like, ooh, these people like me, but they don't. They really just want to be on your show. And once I started figuring that out, I started hate throwing shows. So I did a bunch of shows like that I threw in the first 2 years. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. You want people to invite you on a show because they think you're funny, not because it's like
They owe you one.
yeah, one hand washes the other type of horse shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big learning curve. But now it's a blast. Once you're in with like, everyone's like, oh, it's Rob. And then now I'm doing it like 7 years. You start to feel like a little bit of like an OG. And you show up and If you want, you can get on wherever you want to get on. You can kind of do as much time as you want in our local community.
That's the one thing I miss so much about Jacksonville. I say it all the time, like getting stage time in New York is difficult, especially if you're not in at the clubs, but you have to have a reason to be in at the club. You have to sell tickets, and to sell tickets, you have to have a following.
Yep.
So it is kind of like a snake eating its own tail, where if you don't have a following, you're not getting in anywhere, but then you can't build the following without clips, and you can't get clips if you're not getting up. It's a whole thing. The thing I miss so much, and I tell comics this all the time, especially up here, is in Florida, just being able to walk into a room and everyone be like, hey, you came? You're here?
Cheers.
And you're like, yeah, I just want to support. And they're like, no, you're going to do some time.
Yeah.
You're going to do at least 10.
Oh, yeah.
You got to bring the show back.
Yeah.
Because I booked these 3 other assholes because they put me on their show and they stink.
Yep. That's the way it works.
And that is one of the things that I miss so much about going back home. And now you're there. You're in that zone.
Yeah, buddy, I am a medium-sized fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
And I move
Just
my way
hunting.
around. I'm like, yeah, you fucking minnow bitches. You know what I mean? I'm really starting to get cocky and...
Well, you're very funny.
Sometimes.
I mean, no, I mean, I think you're very funny.
Oh, did I have a bomb like 2 weeks ago?
Did you?
Oh, it hurt. Oh, God, it hurt my
Tell us
soul.
about it.
I almost had a panic attack.
On stage?
No, well, yeah, maybe. Actually, here's how it works. It's always my wife's fault, okay? That's what it comes down to.
Shout out Jobber.
Yeah, shout out Jobbery. We're going camping at Blue Springs State Park, and we know that months in advance. And then Jarbry sees a flyer from Dean Napolitano. Shout out Dean. He's
Dean.
a cool dude. But
I like Dean.
I like Dean a lot, and he's great, and he's funny, but he has his audience.
Yep.
And they are boomers.
Yep.
I tell him all the time, you're the boomer whisperer. He really knows how to get them going, right? And
I remember, I don't mean to cut you off,
at
but
all.
just to fill time's sake,
Yeah.
but also it relates to what you're saying. I remember Jackie Knights, I think. I was on a show with Dean.
Yeah.
Marcus brought me. Marcus was featuring. I was on the show, and I was like, boy, oh boy. I was like a year in, back in, and I was like, I'm going to fucking crush. Jackie Knights, Fishing with Dynamite.
Yeah.
But it's St. Augustine. So it's all these boomers.
Boomers.
And I ate the biggest dick for 5 minutes. That felt like an eternity. Yeah. And then Dean got up there, and I remember thinking to myself, well, listen to what he talks about. Like, listen to what he does.
Very good
and
at
to
it.
see, and he crushes. But with the stuff he was talking about, it was a lot of like, oh, I could have thought of that premise, but he just words it, like you said, he's a whisperer. He words it in a way to where they're like dying. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have said it that way. I would have said it this way, which is why I bombed. So I cut you off, but you're in Blue Springs.
He's also super Italian and uses hands, and boomers need to see hands. Without that, they really...
That's why he got elected.
Yeah.
All the hands.
Yeah. Big hands. Huge hands.
Tiny hands, but I wave them a lot.
Yeah. No, they're great. Anyway. So we're going to camping, and with all these people camping, and Jarbry sees that there's a show at a brewery right next to Blue Springs. It was at Blue Springs Brewery. We're at Blue Springs Campground looking at manatees just floating around and shit, you know? Mm-hmm. And my wife's like, you got to get on this show. So being the big wig that I am, I pull some strings, and they're like, yeah, we could use a host. So I go on to host. I'm going to do about 10 minutes, and I get there, and it's a tiny room, bunch of people. It's like an L-shaped room, so everyone can't see everybody. The lights, I'm giving excuses is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, of course.
The lights are kind of, everyone
Tall
can see.
ceilings, high ceilings.
Low ceilings, but lights were
I was
on.
trying
Everyone,
to help. I was trying to help.
Everyone can see. Yeah, it was a pretty good room.
Actually, the setup was not bad.
Wasn't bad. Not bad. I go on and I can tell. You go in and you just know when there's the right energy in a room. People are giggling the second you kind of open your mouth. I work on tension. I feel like that's kind of my thing. I build a little bit of tension and I say something silly and they go, oh, I see where he was going with that. You know,
I see what he did there.
Yeah, I see what he did. He's not serious. He is an idiot. You know what I mean? And then we move on. And I get in and you can just feel that they're not what I like. You know, we're not... But I'm a pro, and I go into my shtick. I make fun of my wife. I do, and I get them going. I would say it is a good response.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I'm not going, ooh, I'm killing, but I'm going, oh, they're laughing everywhere they're supposed to laugh. And then we get towards the end. I'm doing like 12 minutes. I get to like 9. I was like, I'm going to finish up with a light pedophile joke. And
How'd that go, Rob?
I didn't like it at all. They went silent. They
Just dead silent?
and I'm like, come on, guys, I'm not actually fucking kids. And they're just, and you would think they're, I mean, I could still see the lady's face. You know what I mean? Like one of those.
Yeah.
And then I'm starting to panic and I'm like, What about you, big teeth? The guy that everyone was laughing at before. I was making fun of his big fake white teeth, you know?
The veneers, yeah.
Yeah, you got him out of Thailand or whatever. I don't know. No, I think you get him in Costa Rica, by the way. But anyway, they didn't even like me making fun of that guy anymore. And then you're so late in the bit or the set.
They just turned.
They just turned completely. Even my table. Oh, that's the other thing. We have to invite if families coming and friends. You know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So we have a table of 6, and even them are like,
The people you're camping with.
yeah,
Didn't want anything to do with it once you went into the pedophile joke.
didn't seem that way. And it was about their kids, which I think is crazy. You know the bits that everyone calls me Uncle Rob, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
I know
Sleep
the
I don't
bit.
sleep with these kids. I don't even like them.
That's a funny bit.
So funny, and it's so sad because 2 nights ago, murdering a room at the end of a set. Everyone's, oh my goodness, this guy's a comic genius. You know, that's the way it felt at least. And then I get in this situation, and they just pull on me, pull back, and then you only have if you have a much more time.
You can win
earn
them back, yeah.
I got like a minute left. So I'm like, oh, I'll get him back with the suicide joke. Nope. Anything in the end, I'm like, I'm going to do it. And then I think I walked up. You know what I mean? I'm going to.
Did you preface it? Were you like, okay, if you didn't like that, how about the suicide bit? Or you just went right into it?
I think, honestly, I say, you know what, you guys, you're not going to get me to kill myself. I think that was the
Oh, and
interlude.
then,
I
yeah,
go,
yeah.
because, and then I did a bit.
hang
And
on.
they
I
didn't
forgot
like
something.
It. Give it to me. Yeah, they didn't like it at all.
What if I just got you again?
But then, on top of it,
You said something very funny, and then I looked down to write it down, and I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot my notepad.
see, now I'm offended. You know, I'm just like that guy.
So wait, then you said it was Dean's show?
Yeah, so then you leave, and Dean's like, man, they were loving you until you did that pedophile thing. And you're like, yeah, okay. And then you hang out, and I feel pretty good. I'm like, yeah, I did okay, the rest of the time. And you get over it, and you're in public, so you're doing all right.
Yeah.
And then now we have to go back to the campsite with family and friends that just watched me eat a dick. And I'm sitting by the campfire just reliving it.
Oh, God.
And just going
so
deeper.
you had kind of gotten over it until you had to go back to the campsite with it.
Maybe, whatever the case.
Because you're hanging out with, like, other comics, and you're like, yeah, the last one didn't hit.
And then you're hanging out there, and you think it's like, oh, if it went well, everyone's like, you should have seen Rob murder, and it's not that. Everyone's like, yeah, we went to the show, just these like ominous tones, and you just
We
going,
went to the show.
and I just Jawbree's like, you're not having fun. You're not having any fun around the campfire, and I just went, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I want to die.
I did, and I just leave the party of all the people. I went to sleep early, and that's the life of a guy that does comedy.
Yeah, it's. I've done shows. It is fun that you say the family and friends thing, because I did a show once when we were on the last time I went on tour with Matt, the Bro Jason tour. We did a show in Cambridge. Now Tracy's whole family, well, her parents live outside of Boston, and obviously Cambridge is right outside of Boston.
Okay.
So it was one of these things where it's like Tracy's like, "Oh, I'll come up.
Yeah.
I'll come up. I'll bring my parents. They can bring some of their friends. I'll bring my high school friends." And I'm like, "Oh, this is like an audition, because if this doesn't go well." Every high holiday, every major get together with the family, it's going to be a, hey, are you still trying to do that comedy thing?
I hate that.
And I didn't even think about it that way until one of my best friends in the whole world, Matt Fulcheron, shout out. We're driving up there, and he goes, yeah, man, you're under more stress than any of us. This is like an audition for you. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah. She made you audition to her family, more or less?
Hey, she didn't do it on purpose. She was being supportive. She's like, hey, you always,
That's what you think.
Because I always complain. Little did I know.
That's what they do.
But I always complain that I never can get enough people at shows. Because, even I refuse to do bringers right now, knock on wood, in case I have to go back to that life. But I don't like to do that because it's like, hey, if you put me on a show, I'm going to try everything in my power to bring people to the show because I want it to be a good show. And in order for it to be a good show, I need people at the fucking show. Yeah. So I don't like it when people are like, oh, you have to bring. Don't tell me I have to. That's why I'm a comedian. I don't like being told I have to do anything.
I don't want to bring anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You're living in a moment that goes away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so beautiful because it's just that moment. And then when you bring people, that moment follows you.
That's true.
And when you suck, it's a chance. It's a chance.
Yeah, and so I got lucky because they brought like 14 people. It was her mom and dad, and then they brought a bunch of their friends, and a bunch of her high school friends came, and I ended up crushing.
That's
like
great.
I did really well.
That's awesome.
And I did 25 minutes, and I fucking like bam, bam, and I was like, cool. And they still, to your point, they still bring it up. They're like, that was such a great show. It was so much fun. Like the friends of the family, but this is the funny guy we saw. It's so good. But it's gone the other way. I did the St. Augustine Tonight Show. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
There's a show. It's like a public access show that they do in St. Augustine.
Oh, I do vaguely remember this hearing from somebody.
Like
yeah.
6 or 7 years ago, they had this big audition, quote unquote, for it. It was Lauren B.
Kind of remember that
Like
too.
we did it at her apartment, and it was like me and Zach and like a bunch of other people like auditioned.
Yeah.
And I got it. We all got it. He basically, the host just wanted to see us do comedy to make sure we weren't fucking terrible. And so everyone got it. And I invited my aunt and my uncle, and like my sisters came.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad. So bad.
It's the worst.
I wore a suit. Like, oh, like it's going to be like the Tonight Show where they always, Johnny Carson used to always say, fucking dress up. You're on television.
Yeah.
So I wore a suit and this very flamboyant tie that I completely regret wearing.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I got off stage, and it was the same thing that I hear from people, or I heard from people when I got back into stand-up all the time. You are so good on stage. You have such great stage presence.
Okay.
We just didn't get the jokes.
Oh.
Which is way worse.
That is worse, I guess.
I'd rather have horrible stage presence but people laughing than people responding to my mannerisms and my fucking eccentricities and not laughing.
I got one of those once in the beginning. I remember. I'll still remember it. It was early on.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, yeah.
The first show I ever invited my dad to when I got back into stand-up, he said, great stage presence, you just need to get someone to write you some jokes, which is a fucking sick burn, and I love it. But
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah. I had a random lady. I'll never forget her face. You're great on stage, but you just need to write all new material. It's like, oh, thanks. And it was only 6 months in or whatever, so who the hell cares? Plus, she's a bitch.
So take us through, I'm interested in this because I love little details. So take us through like a typical week, because like you said, you're traveling like a lot, but you also have like a regular job. So take us through, because in New York, I just get on the subway and I can be like, for me, I'm like, oh my God, it's a fucking 2-train-hour subway ride to Brooklyn. Like I really don't want to do the show, but you're literally traversing the entire state.
A little bit.
So take us through, like, if you have a show, like, what are you doing? Are you like getting off work, running home, changing, getting in the car, driving like 3 hours to go do a show?
No, I'm not that adventurous. I mean, I stay within like an hour and a half for the most part. So it's Orlando, Jacksonville, Melbourne. That's the triangle. I'm in the middle of all of it in Ormond Beach or Daytona. What up?
Grade 6.
Bike week. Yeah, you just put too many miles on your car. It's got a coolant leak at the moment. I'm sure that's going to be, a couple $100. That's just the way it is. You just put too many miles on your car. But what else is there to live for?
100%.
Without getting
That's
those
going to be the name of
laughs.
the episode, man.
What else is there to live for?
So
Hang on a second. Back
Go.
to the bomb for a second. First off, the next day, what I like to do is then you blame your wife.
Yeah.
You're like, I wouldn't have even been on that show.
if it wasn't,
I wouldn't even been in front of these piece of shit boomer. Like the way you just.
it's not true.
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's right. She'll watch this.
Of course she will. She's very supportive.
Not after this. So you start fighting with your wife. That's the way that a normal next day goes. Then I got a little road rage incident. Anyway, it spirals out of control.
How long did that sit with you?
Just the day. Until you get up the next time.
Yeah.
And then they laugh or whatever the case is. And you go, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm funny.
And then when you're on a podcast a year later, you're like, this fucking time.
Yeah. No, that one, I'll never forget that one.
Yeah.
That one's going to stick with me for a while. That one hurt.
There's a few of them where you're just like, what am I doing?
You think you're so tough, but when something like that hits you.
When I say this all the time, it's because comedy is so vulnerable. Even if it's not, it still is, because you're up there by yourself and these are your thoughts that you've thought of and you've crafted. So even if it's a joke that's silly or stupid or whatever, it's still like, oh, this came out of my brain
Sure.
to this microphone. And then when they just look at you like with disdain and disgust, you're like, oh, you don't like me.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Not what I'm doing. You just don't like me.
Yeah.
And that, you'll never forget those moments.
No.
Just got to sit in it.
Yeah, you just got to sit in it.
That's why there's a couple mics in the city that I tell when comics, because I'm not even a medium fish here. I'm still a teeny tiny small fish, but I'm bigger than a minnow.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a medium sized fish yet. But so at the minnow, sometimes at the mics will come up and be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'll tell them a lot. I'll go like, hey, if you like, you're in your first 3 months, 6 months, go to these rooms to do open mics because no one is in there. No one is listening to you. And you have to get comfortable in the silence.
Yeah.
Like you have to get comfortable saying your jokes into a microphone with nobody reacting because that's when you get nervous. That's when I get nervous. I did a show. I've told the story before, but I did a show in Connecticut on the last tour. And as soon as I grabbed the microphone, a guy was like, not funny.
Oh.
And I wasn't doing a bit or anything. I just grabbed the mic. I was like, hey, everybody, my name is Brennan Tassif. And some guy just goes, not funny. And I got through it was a 25-minute set. I got through all of my material. And I looked down at my watch and only 13 minutes had gone by.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
And the shows before, I was like, oh, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. I went through all the material I had written down. And it was just gone.
Yeah.
And then I just started telling stories. Because all my material is based in stories that have happened to me. So I was like, yeah, remember the bit I did about getting a DUI? Well, this is the story of how it really happened. Just to fill, because you get paid for the time. You don't get paid for the laughs.
Sure.
And I was like, motherfucker.
Do you know what it is? I think the reason why it hurts so much is because I do. I'll admit you live in this life of delusion a little bit, and the whole thing is, I would love for my real life to kind of or real work at least to dissipate, and then somehow I do this. I'm gonna be discovered. Whatever delusion you have in your head, and every time you kill on stage, it seems like that could be more of a reality, or it starts to become a reality, and you're going, you know what? I got something here. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty good at this.
This is not a delusion. Yeah. And then one comes like that, and it's just if you go up 5 steps that week, a bad bomb just brings you back 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to grow up and get another job or
do something else. That happened. I had a show in New Haven, and it was a snowstorm, and we didn't think anyone was gonna come. And then 40 people ended up showing up, and it's in this cool spot. It was a fun show, but I remember the host went up, and the host, he said it was his first time hosting. And he seemed like a newer comic and went up. You could tell he was kind of green behind the ears. Yeah. But, he was doing his thing. He's doing the best he could. And I remember looking at the guy who produces the show being like, dude, I'm about to fucking murder this room.
Yeah.
Like, you got all these, 40 people came out in a fucking snowstorm. They want to see comedy.
Okay.
I'm going to be the one to fucking give it to them.
How'd that work out?
Bombed.
Yeah.
So bad.
That's the way it always works. Anytime you're overconfident, it blows.
I went up there, first joke, got him. And I was like, cooking with grease, baby.
Nice.
Here we go. Second joke, silence, which is tied to the first joke.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like a tag on the first joke.
Yeah.
Silence. And I was like, and then you start doing the math in your head. I go, that doesn't make any sense. You guys laughed at the first part. Mm-hmm. The second part is just an extension of the first part.
Yeah, while you're on stage, you're doing math.
Yeah. And I'm like, what's happening?
That shows well on your face too.
Yeah. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. And then it was an okay. I say bomb. It was an okay set, and I got off, and the generic one person in the back of the room as I'm getting ready to leave, being like, "Well, I really liked it. Cool, thanks." And then I reached out to that same producer. This was like the beginning of February, and I reached out to that same producer like 2 days ago, and I was like, "Hey," because I am a psycho. Like if something was recorded, I asked for the tape just so I can watch it back.
Sure.
I don't know if it's from playing football for so long, and like you got to watch the film. You got to get better. And I reached out and I was like, hey, I didn't set up my camera because you guys had a full camera set up. Mm-hmm. Do you have that tape? And he was like, let me see if I can find it. And in my head, I'm like, no, he probably deleted it because I fucking bombed. Sure. Why would he keep it?
Did he have it?
He never got back to me. Okay. But it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you got to watch it again.
No.
Like you have to.
Oh, you got to watch a bomb again?
Yeah, that's how you get better.
Oh, buddy, I'm living in it. I can watch, I leave my body and watch it, and I can remember that memory, okay? Yeah, I don't need to see it again.
Oh, I watch them all.
How dare you? Oh, you are a crazy person.
Yeah.
No.
That's how you get better, baby.
No.
I will watch sets because I record a lot of them on my phone most of the time. Unless someone's like, don't like this situation where they're like, we have a camera, we have it all set up, we have a guy like who's doing the thing. Don't worry about it. And even then, like I've been like, because we had a show in at Chrissy B's back in Palm Coast. Same thing, camera. Don't worry about it. For the first show, and I actually did pretty okay for both shows.
Sure.
Camera wasn't working. And then with this show, but I watch them all back. Like I'll watch them back on the subway home because I'm like fucking figure out what happened. Bombs, good show. It doesn't matter. Like every set, I just rewatch.
You can't go in your head and remember them. You lose it.
No, because what you remember in your head is not what happened.
No, I remember exactly what happens. I don't know. I think I do. I'm very brutal. Yeah, I remember.
The worst part though is when you crush, but you have your like phone set up in the back of the room, and the audience obviously faces the stage, so you don't capture the laughter.
No.
So I've had so many shows where I've gotten off like fucking follow that, and then I watch it back and I go, you can't hear anybody.
You also never can catch, even if the mic is on them, you can't catch the weird tension and them grinning weird, you know what I mean? And and like them shaking their head.
Or they're like the point, like,
Yeah. Well, they're not all supposed to be laughs. They're all supposed to, sometimes it's just recognizing what you're saying. And then the laugh is the punchline. You know what I mean? And you miss all of that context when the camera's in the back of the room.
So you're just raw dogging it, man. You're just up there, like no cameras, no nut. You're like, I'm just going to remember this.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, that's crazy.
Nah.
God.
You're the crazy.
I'm a bit of a crazy person. I want to talk to you because you take a lot of trips, you and your beautiful wife.
I wouldn't say a lot, but recently, just to really...
Well, I was trying to set it up, but
really
okay.
Stress you out? Yeah, sure. What do you want to know?
I will, because obviously the crux of the show is drinking stories, party stories, getting in trouble stories, things like that. Let's talk about Spain.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about Spain?
I do want to talk about Spain.
You took a cruise.
I took a cruise to Spain.
How long was that cruise?
Cruise was 14 days.
For those of you wondering, I don't have any preconceived notions of this. I'm just setting up the story.
Sure.
People, I don't want people to think like you told me like you murdered a guy, and I'm like trying to set it up.
No, I didn't. Cruise is boring.
14 days is an insane amount of time to be locked on a boat.
Yeah, but kind of cool.
All inclusive?
No, we didn't buy the booze package, but you can't drink that much for 14 days. I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll die if I drink. Like if you go on a 4-dayer and you get the booze package and you're like, I'm going to get my money's worth.
Yeah.
I'll drink $3,000. I just will. I'm not Jewish, but I want that money. Whatever. I'm getting my money's worth.
My wife, who is Jewish, would really apprate that. Honestly, she's always trying to get her money.
She got money. They get it. I get it. They're always trying to recruit me, by the way. I live in a community. I want they're trying to recruit me.
They do that to me when I come out of the subway on Fridays for the for Shabbat. They'll be like, "Are you Jewish?"
Yeah.
Every Friday. Are you Jewish? And I'm always like, "No." Oh, okay, sorry.
Do you want to be?
What are you thinking?
But on a big cruise, we didn't buy the booze package because we were like, I'll die, And then and we were gonna party and meet more people that party when we got to Spain. So the cruise was awesome. We would have wine at dinner and big dinners and sleep in the morning. But every day, just the gym and just nothing to do, but it feels good. Because if you give me things to do, if I'm at my house, I'll just start like wiring something or like building.
You have
something.
one of the coolest podcast studios I've ever been in.
Yeah. So
and you don't
I don't
host a
record that
podcast.
either. Yeah. Well, it's a work in progress, as am I. But we'll get there. I don't even know how to use the
You don't
audio
have a
thing.
show. You have a lot of ideas for shows.
Sure. It's called Daytona, guys. There's a website that no one looks at it because.
What is it called?
It will be Daytona, guys.
We're putting that on the fucking
Put
thing.
it on there.
Yeah, because I was telling you this. I had a memory come up on my computer, and it was like 4 years ago on this day, and it was a picture of me in your house.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, the studio is so sick. And then we recorded an episode of a podcast that doesn't exist.
And what did I tell you happened?
You lost the audio.
I'm not good at it. You got to be good at it before you put
But
something
the
out there.
room is so like, oh, this guy's got to be fucking sick at this.
Sure. I can build things.
You're a very good builder.
I'm a good builder.
So you go on the cruise. I have a question because I've never been on a cruise.
Buff as shit.
Yeah. just
every
every day.
morning, let's go, nothing to do. And then, it's fun normally. You're drinking protein, try to get your gains, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any of that, but you just walk down to the buffet and I'll be like, all the meats.
Yeah.
Just give me the meats. Bowls of meat.
So you said you didn't get the booze package, but the food is still all included.
Yeah, of course.
I've never been on a cruise.
Oh, you gotta
so
go.
I don't know.
You gotta go.
So how does it work? So like if you go to dinner and you said you get a glass of wine with dinner, do they hand you a bill then?
No. Well, we got yes, you can get stuff and it goes to the room and like you can order anything you want and you just pay for it at the end. It goes on to your room and whatnot. But we pre-bought a bunch of bottles of wine. So we would go, we want this bottle of wine. You hand them a little ticket. They go in the back. They bring out the bottle of wine.
That's a very efficient way to do this.
It's pretty cool. And then what the crazy thing is nobody tips the like wait staff. They get screwed, these guys, because everything's free. So you don't whatever. I can't even find the real word. You don't think of the money and what you're supposed to tip. So at one point, like during the middle, I'm like, I'm bringing a 20. Like we're on vacation anyway, and I got gambling money, and we're ready to. So I'd leave a 20 on the table, and we would watch people a couple tables over just like look at these show offs.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, look at you being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like these people are broke from Indonesia. You know what I mean? Give them $20 American.
I saw something once. It was like a thing on social media where it was the line of a cruise ship, because if you don't get the package, apparently on this particular cruise line, every drink that you buy, you're charged an 18% gratuity on that drink. But again, it goes to what you're describing. It goes to the room, so you don't see anything. And then at the end of the trip, they're like, "Hey, this is what you paid for booze. This is what you paid for gratuity." But you can get it turned off.
Yeah.
But like, it's one of those things where you have to know about it to know about it.
Yeah.
Just like with a lot of resort fees, you can get them taken off if you go there and argue enough.
Yep.
So there was this guy, and he walked down the line of like all the people who were in line with customer service to get it turned off, and it's on the ship. Like you have to go down. It's the first thing you have to do before you buy anything on the little card.
I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, so they're just getting I mean, they obviously paid for the package, but it's like those people are working for obviously tipped server wages, which is normally half, if not 1/3 of what a real minimum wage on something is.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, they're just getting fucked.
Yeah.
But I've never been
Especially
on
the cruise I went on.
Yeah.
Well, it was a transatlantic cruise, which I know sounds like a gay cruise. Stupid. It's a joke. But it's so long that. What the hell was I going to say about this? It's hard to go on. If you have like kids in school and things like that, you can't take 14 days off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had this plan like a year and a half in advance and whatnot. But a lot of people, if you have kids or a job, you can't. So what it was a ton of like retirees that gamble. And if you gamble, they comp. If you lose $20,000 to Carnival, they'll send you on any cruise you want.
Yeah.
And then you watch these people walking around like, I'm on this cruise for free. I'm like, buddy, you
lost $20K.
Yeah. I'm like, you had to remortgage your house. I'm like, you're not a winner. I'm like, and they're like, this drink's for free. I'm like, yeah, it is. But yeah, all right. Yeah. Good
It's the
job.
same thing in Vegas when people are like, it's all free. And it's like, didn't you just lose $3,000?
Yeah, I know. They love to just forget about that.
That's what the booze are for.
Yeah. But this is mainly what the cruisers are. And these people are stingy and terrible humans.
Yeah.
And they had the line for days to turn off the tips. And one cool thing I learned about the tips, by the way, is we went to a tour inside the boat and how to do. Also, if you got to stay away from the engine room. It's always hot Italians. Okay, like keep your wife away from the engine. It's just,
hey, Jabri, how you doing?
I'm telling you, these guys, they're the Italians. They have like, they're the only place in the world maybe that does these like marine and whatever. All these cruise ships are smoke show dude Italians. And that doesn't make me gay, just observant. Anyway, but back to the tipping. During the tour, I asked some director, how do the tips work? So the tips are all included 18% anytime you order something. And that goes to all of the staff. It blends across them. They all share
It's like
the
a
tips.
pool house, yeah.
But they also have a spot for additional tip. And if you leave $1 or $2, that goes directly to the person that served you the drink.
Okay.
That was just a crazy thing for me to learn. I'm like, I get it. So the guy that sucks, I wasn't leaving anything.
Yeah,
there's a bunch
he's
of
getting the 18% already.
He's a jerk. But the someone that's like, hey, sir, how are you? You're drinking? It's another martini. I'm like, yeah, right. It's another martini. whatever.
Bang them out, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's something that was a big learn for me.
Well, that's a fascinating thing because I've worked in almost exclusively tipped industries my entire adult life, like restaurants. So it is like we'll get people who come from Australia, which are the worst tippers historically, in my experience, because Australia is like the finance capital of that part of the world. Mm-hmm. So then a lot of them have places in New York, like, headquarters in New York or like a separate branch in New York. So we get a lot of Australians. It's so funny because I was talking to a friend of mine who's Australian, and he's like, no, they know. They just don't. Because they're like, oh, it's a cultural thing. He's like, but I assure you, most of them went to American schools. Yeah. Like, they know to tip. They just don't.
What do they tip in Australia? Nothing?
Yeah. It's like most of Europe, how it's like, oh, no, you get paid a living wage. Yeah. And a lot of people are always like, oh, well, then find a new job. It's like, well, no, I made close to 6 figures working 3 days a week last year. Like, I'm fine with my job. Oh, yeah. It is just one of those things where the whole idea of it is like, you give them money because you want to have a better experience. Yeah. So ipso facto, if you don't give me money, then I can give you just a shitty mid-level experience.
It's kind of what I like.
And then we're all on the same page.
Yeah. Spain was very much that way.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. One, I did like that. First off, the food and drinks were substantially less than here.
That's what I hear.
Why? I mean, we were going out and going, we'd split the bill across, someone would pay it, then we'd all Venmo each other percentages or whatever, we split it up 3 ways. We're like, we ate like kings and drank like maniacs for $75 a couple.
Wow.
We're like, that's unbelievable. And it was like that every place. And they don't expect tips. And because of that, they're all business.
Yeah.
It's no kissing your ass, whatever. They at first I thought they hated us, which they might have. But I don't really think so. I think it was just like, oh, what do you want? I'll go get it for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out here, oh, did you like that food? It's none of that. It's just like, I'll go get it for you. Yep. This is a transaction. We part ways.
Well, and this is real quick to interrupt, but on that point, I've heard a lot of comics talk about doing shows in Europe. Yeah. And they're like, we have to ask for the check. As soon as we put the order in, we have to be like, oh, and then will you bring us the check? Yeah. Because they're not on anybody's timeline. Like, there's no like, oh, turn your tables, get people in, get people out. Like, that hustle mentality doesn't exist. Nope. So I think Ari Shaffir was talking about this, but he's like, when he was doing a tour in England, he was like, yeah, we got our food and we had a show that like, it was my show I had to get to. And he was almost missed his show because they got the food, ate. And then when he went to ask for the check, he just couldn't find the guy for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He had to like get up and like be like, where's our server? We need the bill. Yeah. And then he brings the bill and then you put your card on it and then you don't see him again for another 30 minutes. Yeah. Because it's like, oh no, you got your food. You said the food was good. We're done here. Like, I'll get to you when I get to you. Mm-hmm. Which is what I tell people all the time. It's so funny to me because I'm always like, well, yeah, if you want the same service that you get going into like a fucking Home Depot where everyone's working for like shit money, because that's what it would be, because these restaurant industries are brutal. So they would just pay us minimum wage if there was no tip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if you want that kind of service, like then that's what you'll get.
Yeah.
But people are always, it's a double-edged sword in America because they'll bitch and moan that the service wasn't very good, but then not leave any money. And it's like, you're paying for the service. That's what the thing is for.
Yeah, but you know what?
My job isn't to suck your dick. It's to fucking, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, they're not terribly wrong. I mean, they are.
No,
they are wrong. But the rents and the taxes and the liquor licenses and all the fees that we throw on top of these poor business owners that run these restaurants, they force their prices through the roof. Mm-hmm. So when you get the bill and go, oh my God, it's $250,
Yeah.
And then they don't want to leave the tip, but that's our culture, and it is what it is. But it is outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, we are.
I mean, if
you
look, I completely agree with you. The problem is, and then this will turn a little political, but the problem is, if you don't incentivize people, most of the time people suck, and they're not going to do a good job.
Sure.
I work with plenty of servers at my swanky steakhouse that aren't very good, but because it's a pool house, they don't have to be.
Yeah.
Because we all make money for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And because it's corporate, you can't just fire them.
It doesn't make it right, though. It's just a bad system.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But to the point is, like, you have to incentivize people. It's like the whole scene in, what's the movie with the Mike Judge movie? Come on. It's the classic movie, Office Space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where he's like, well, Bob, I've got 8 different bosses. So when I screw up, 8 different people come down on me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't have any incentive. So I'm going to work just hard enough not to get fired.
Yeah.
Which is how I think most people view the world. I mean, you and I are psychos, so we're always like, I want to be the absolute best at everything I fucking touch.
Here and there.
So in Spain, how long were you in Spain for?
So we got to Spain. Here's advice too. Barcelona. Everyone's like, Barcelona, it's awesome. It's so great.
Skip it.
Yeah, there's better I mean, if you want to experience New York City in Spain, go to Barcelona.
Yeah.
That's what it is. There's big cathedrals, there's great food, but it's busy and people bumping into each other and not like the nicest attitudes because it's cutthroat mentality and they supposedly hate it's insane tourism there, so they dislike us the most. Get out of there. And what I don't think a lot of people know is if you get to Barcelona, it's 1 hour north of Barcelona, starts a series of cities called Costa Brava. And they're just these beautiful ancient cities on the Mediterranean with castles, and there's sangrias at every castle. You know, you can get a $3 sangria anywhere.
And it's so good, I bet.
It's so good. And no, we just bounced around these cities, and if I get to Barcelona, I mean, we had a great time there too. I mean, we had boozy and had a fun night and really had a good time. But no, I don't want to do it again.
How? So you said it was a 14-day cruise. So is it like 4 days to Spain and then 4 days in Spain and then how does it work?
You get on the boat. You get on the boat. The next day you end up in the Bahamas. We get on in Florida, and you end up in the Bahamas, and you do the day on an island day, and we had a good time there. I don't really remember. I think we almost missed the boat, and it was an all-inclusive pool party. Whatever.
So you go from Florida to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And then from the Bahamas to...
Booze it up because I don't have the drink package. So I'm like, I'm going to make my money's worth.
So it was an all-inclusive party.
That
so you
was.
were like, let's get fucking hammered.
Absolutely.
And then almost missed the boat. Because the boat will just leave, right?
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Infinity pool with a pool up, a swim-up bar. I love a swim-up bar. You love a swim-up bar?
Fuck
Back in the day,
who doesn't?
It's the best. There's nothing
We're
better
from
than a
Florida,
swim-up bar.
baby. We
It's
love a
the
swim-up bar.
best. So too much booze there, almost missed the boat, get back on the boat, and now you're at sea.
Okay.
And you're at sea now for 7 days.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't see anything. You get up every day, and this is the downtime. I got nothing to do.
Just
dinners,
rocking the gym.
go to sleep. You know, there wasn't too much of a crazy party scene on this boat, so you go to sleep at like 10 o'clock, you know. The crazy thing is every day they would set our time back 1 hour. Mm-hmm. And they kept selling it to us. They're like, oh, you guys are going to love it because you don't have this big time change. You adjust gradually, which is a crock of shit because it's like by the day 3, everyone's like, what's going on? Like, is it noon? I can't believe that it's noon. You know, it's like, it feels like 9 and you're sleeping in later than you normally ever would. And everyone's kind of just
out of it.
It wasn't, I would do it the opposite way where you start gaining time we were losing time on the way there. Mm-hmm. You gain time on the way back. I think I'm saying that right. I would fly there, cruise back if I had a preference in the future.
So when you're out in the ocean, is it, to your point, because it's transatlantic, is it just nothingness, just vast water everywhere around you?
Yeah, but a couple days, everyone's like, it's going to get crazy out there. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the days it looked like we were floating through a pool. I mean, just as far as your eye could see, there were dolphins chasing us. It was pretty cool.
Scary to me.
It was cool. Nah,
just
it wasn't
the vast
at all.
Nothingness.
It was cool.
And then you get to Spain. How long is it all Europe? Just Spain? How long are you there?
We got there and we spent one night in Barcelona, and then we got a cab, or actually we took the train. That was terrible. I thought it was going to be a great experience. It was just, it was not. It was like a New York
Some of our
subway.
stand-up sets all over again.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. You're going to hate yourself.
Yeah. No, it was just, I thought we were going to go up the coast and see all these beautiful things. We get on a subway where, again, they're not big fans of Americans. My brother and sister-in-law, or my sister and my brother-in-law have big Buffalo Bills luggage.
Yeah.
So it's just American flag, basically, luggage. People are pointing at it, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm going to fight anybody that kind of protect
America.
And they disliked us. And I'm just nervous the whole time. I'm thinking we're getting mugged. And also just graffiti over all of the windows. So we were going to see an ocean view and just graffiti. So I would never do that again. Just I would take a.
There you go,
private car.
socialism.
Sarah, yeah. But we got to Blanes,
Blanes.
which is the. Do
you speak Spanish?
Not at all. Not at all. I'll pretend, but not even a little bit. I said I was going to learn Portuguese to go to Brazil, and I'm not a lick of it. Yeah, whatever. But I'm embarrassed the whole time. At least I'm not. I do feel shame. I'm like, I should have tried.
Yeah, I should have done something.
But I don't. I say I will, and then I don't do it. But Blanes is the coolest. I mean, it was a blast. A little sleepy, like fishing town, but we had a house up on a cliff that was wildly affordable, and that was the coolest.
Dude.
It was awesome.
And then what? So it's like one night, and then you get back on the boat.
We spent no. We were done. So you fly back.
Oh, okay.
One way on a boat.
That's why I was confused. Yeah.
Did 5 nights in Blenheim, traveled all over these Costa Brava cities, and then back to Barcelona. One more night there, kind of an easy night, and then got on a plane the next day.
So when you book the cruise, is it sold that way? Like, oh, you spend all this time on the ship and then you fly back?
No, you can do whatever you want. And actually, the freaks on the boat that were all these gambling maniacs that were getting it for free, they were like, they're just cruise people. This is their lives. You know what I mean? And they complain, and that's all they do. But they get there, and then they jump. That boat actually was going there to get work on its crazy like nuclear gas tank. They were taking the whole boat apart.
Okay.
So a bunch of the people on the boat were techs and stuff like that. That boat went into a dry dock for 2 weeks. And while that went on, a bunch of the gamblers went on another Carnival cruise that went up and down the Mediterranean.
Fuck off.
I know. And then they come back when that boat's done. They got back on that boat and then came back. So if you did that, it was like about a month.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was a month.
It's like being lost at sea.
Pretty cool. Man, I want to be ignorant and fat and an alcoholic and a gambling addict when I get in my 60s.
Yeah, dude.
These people had smiles ear to ear, going broke.
Dan Soder has
so
a great
happy.
bit about it where he goes, I wish I was just a little bit dumber. Just dumb enough to go, Vegas, and mean it. Like, just a little bit dumber.
You know, my favorite is too, you ask him, you're like, well, we're gamblers. And you're like, oh, yeah, you're a great poker player. You're good at blackjack. Can you count cards? And like, nah, man, we're like pretty awesome at slots. And I'm like, no one is awesome at slots. This lady's like, I can hit the button so fast. And I'm like, you're not.
You have a problem, lady.
Yeah.
So what's next on the agenda? Rio?
We're going to Rio in a week.
Yeah. You excited?
No. Again, Rio also looks like a piece of shit city that I don't want to go to. It's just a huge New York-like city near a big beach. And I'm not that into it. I like quiet and calm. So we're doing the same thing. We're getting to Rio we're not even staying a day there. And we're going to go out to Buzios. Buzios, which is a fishing town that was made famous by Brigitte Bardot, who just passed away.
R.I.P.
She was quite the celebrity in the 60s, and she had a boyfriend in Rio, and the paparazzi wouldn't leave her alone, so she ran away to Buzios and told everyone in the world how great this little town was.
And that's where you're going.
That's where we're going.
Fuck yeah, man. Dude, this was a blast. Thanks for coming on.
All right.
Plug everything one more time. Let everybody know where they can
I
find
have
you.
nothing to plug.
Daytona guys. Find that wherever you got social media.
Follow Rob Roeck, I guess.
Yeah.
I have
At
900
Rob
followers.
Roeck.
I'm gonna break the 1,000 follower mark this year. That's my goal. I need 60 more.
How do you not have it? You've been doing comedy for 7 years.
Because I don't post anything. I'm a secret comedian. That's my thing.
Rob.
I'm getting funny.
You're very funny. That's why I'm shocked that you don't post.
One of these days.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T. Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. Check out for the tour dates in the summer, and we will talk to y'all next week. Boom. Nailed it. That's fun, man.
That was fun.